Welcome to the second part of hypolipidemic drugs. In first part, we have learned about the statin. In today's lecture, we are going to see about various other drugs useful in hyperlipidemia. As we have already studied in the previous lecture, that statin acts by inhibiting cholesterol synthesis from the liver. When we inhibit the cholesterol synthesis from the liver, there occurs increased absorption of the cholesterol from the intestine as a compensatory mechanism. And this sometimes results in inadequate response to the statin. We may not able to achieve enough decrease in cholesterol which we desire to achieve. So to counter this compensatory mechanism, we also have to decrease the absorption from the intestine, and that can be achieved by one recent drug called ezetimibe. Ezetimibe acts by interfering with the absorption of the cholesterol by blocking NP-C1L1, Niemann-Pick C1-like-1 transporter. So when there is decreased absorption of the cholesterol, there is overall decrease in the blood cholesterol level. It is mostly used as an adjuvant to the statin when there is not adequate response to the statin. But in the milder cases, it can also be used as a alone. Now, second group of a drug, fibrates. To understand the fibrates, we need to understand the normal metabolism of the circulating lipoproteins. Lipoprotein in the circulation comes from the two sources. Liver releases the VLDL, whereas those which has been absorbed by the diet from the food, it circulates as a chylomicron. Both of them ultimately containing triglyceride inside them. This circulating form of the cholesterol, when go inside the tissue, the endothelium of the capillaries releases the lipoprotein lipase. This lipoprotein lipase acts on these fat molecules and lead to digestion of these fat molecules. So this lipoprotein lipase is ultimately responsible for clearing the cholesterol from the circulation. So if we can increase the amount of lipoprotein lipase, we can ultimately increase the clearance of the cholesterol from the blood. And this can be achieved by activating a gene which is responsible for synthesis of lipoprotein lipase. And this is what the fibrates does. Fibrates go inside the DNA and activates PPAR alpha, which results in more synthesis of lipoprotein lipase and more clearing of cholesterol molecule from the blood. To summarize the mechanism, drug go inside the gene, activates the PPAR alpha, result in more synthesis of lipoprotein lipase enzyme, more digestion of the triglyceride and other forms of cholesterol. Name of the drug: first generation or older gemfibrozil, second generation or newer drug bezafibrate and fenofibrate. Important point to be noticed is that this drug is the most efficacious drug in decreasing the triglyceride level. Among all cholesterol lowering drugs, fibrates are most efficacious in decreasing triglyceride. But the problem is it interferes with the statin by two different ways. One, it interferes with its metabolism. So statin cannot be metabolized. Second, it also increases the risk of myopathy when combined with the statin. And both of these problems is more with the older generation fibrate, that is gemfibrozil. So gemfibrozil is contraindicated to be given with the statin. Use as it interferes with the statin, they are not used in primary or secondary hyperlipidemia. They are used only in severe hypertriglyceridemia, which can result in acute pancreatitis, which is an emergency condition. Next group of drug, bile acid binding agent or a BABA drug. To understand the mechanism of bile acid binding agent, we need to understand the enterohepatic cycling of bile acid. Bile acids are synthesized inside the liver and they are secreted in the bile duct. From the bile duct they come to the duodenum and then ileum. In the ileum they bind with the fat-soluble nutritional substances including cholesterol and help in the absorption of these substances. Once they get absorbed, they again return to the liver via circulation, hepatic vein circulation, and the substance which was absorbed then go into the systemic circulation. So basically these bile acid binding agents are like a shuttle. They go from the station which is located outside the town, pick up the passenger and drops it inside the town. The town is liver and station is intestine. So from the intestine it picks up the nutritional substance, drops it inside the liver and goes back to the intestine. And during this enterohepatic circulation, most of the bile acid is reabsorbed, only 5% is lost inside the fecus. As the name suggests, what bile acid binding agent does is it combines with the bile acid. It combines with the bile acid and does not let it get reabsorbed. So most of the bile acid is now excreted out of the body. So as the most of the bile acid has been excreted out of the body, liver has to synthesize new bile acid. For the synthesis of new bile acid, cholesterol is required. So liver start using the cholesterol inside the liver to synthesize new bile acid. As the amount of the cholesterol inside the liver decreases, liver has to pick up the cholesterol from the blood, and for that it start expressing more and more LDL receptor on the surface, and thus amount of LDL also decreases. This is how bile acid binding agent work. They increases the excretion of the bile acid, so liver has to synthesize more bile acid. To synthesize more bile acid, it has to utilize more cholesterol, and to have a more cholesterol, it start expressing more LDL receptors. The problem is this bile acid binding agent has to soak overnight in the water and then consume in next day morning, and it has to be consumed in the larger amount. It is unpalatable and unpleasant to consume. Not only it interferes with the absorption of the cholesterol, but also many other nutritional substances, and absorption of the drug is also interfered. And because fat is not being reabsorbed, it remains inside the GIT and produces bloating. So GIT discomfort like indigestion is seen very commonly with use of this drug. So patient compliance is very poor. Patient is not very much comfortable taking bile acid binding agent. But the bright side is, because it is not absorbed, it does not produce any side effect. Very minimum side effect is produced like GIT discomfort, but no serious problem is seen with the bile acid binding agent, and that is why they are safest drug to be used during pregnancy or for the pediatric patient. Next group of drug or last group of drug, niacin, or known as nicotinic acid, or vitamin B3. Now, exact mechanism of vitamin B3 is not very much clear, but scientists suggest there are two different types of mechanism which is possible. One, it may be decreasing the release of free fatty acid from the adipose tissue inside the blood. So even though there is a cholesterol stored inside the fat, fat cell, it cannot come inside the blood. So overall blood cholesterol remain in the control. Second thing, it may be directly inhibiting the triglyceride synthesis inside the liver. So liver cannot synthesize triglyceride and it has to pick up more triglyceride from the blood, and it does it by increasing the reverse transport, and reverse transport is done by HDL. So overall HDL increases. Important point to notice about the niacin is that it is the most efficacious drug in raising the HDL level. It is most efficacious drug in raising the HDL level. Not only it increases the HDL level, it also decreases lipoprotein A, which is the most atherogenic lipoprotein. And it is also very cheap. So by profile, it is a very excellent drug. But disadvantage is only 50% patient can tolerate the niacin. It has many side effects. Most common side effect is it is a very strong cutaneous vasodilator at a therapeutic dose. There occurs a flushing and itching in the areas, and this flushing and itching is due to increased production of the prostaglandin D2. So we can inhibit this prostaglandin synthesis by giving non-specific treatment like aspirin, or we can give specific prostaglandin D2 antagonist laropiprant. A combination of a niacin with the laropiprant is also available. But flushing and itching is not the only problem. It is also contraindicated in diabetes because it can produce hyperglycemia. It is also contraindicated in patients of gout because it can produce hyperuricemia. It can also lead to severe liver dysfunction. It can also produce the arrhythmias. It can also aggravate the myopathy by statin, and it is also contraindicated in pregnancy because of teratogenicity. So because of these many problems, niacin is usually not preferred. It is only indicated for severe hypertriglyceridemia. Let us summarize the oral hypolipidemic drugs. Maximum decrease in LDL is seen with statin. Maximum decrease in triglyceride is seen with the fibrates. Maximum increase in HDL is seen with the nicotinic acid. The drug which is safest in pregnancy is bile acid binding agent, or the only drug which can be used in the pregnancy is bile acid binding agent. And drug to combine with the statin as an adjuvant is ezetimibe. Now let's see which are the cholesterol level which we are seeing. For the triglyceride, less than 150 mg per dl is normal. For the LDL, less than 100 mg per dl is a normal. In case of HDL, there is difference in male and female. For the male, more than 40 mg per dl is normal. For the female, more than 50 mg per dl is normal. And total cholesterol level should be less than 200 mg. But if there is slight rise in these values or change in these values, should we treat? There is clear-cut guidelines from very large number of studies available. So when to start a drug and when we can treat the patient by lifestyle modification only. If any patient having LDL cholesterol more than 190, they need a treatment with the drug. Normal level of LDL is 100. So if there is more than 190 level, then we have to start a drug. It cannot be managed with the lifestyle modification. Then any case with past history of ischemic heart disease like angina, myocardial infarction or other cardiovascular disease, then this patient has to be treated with the drug. Then all the patients who have diabetes, who are smoker, having a hypertension and male patient above age of 40 if having abnormal lipid profile, then they need to be treated. If HDL is less than 40 for a male and less than 50 for a female, and if there is also increase in LDL, then drug is needed. So these are the factors which determines whether we should treat with the drug or with the lifestyle modification. This was all about hypolipidemic drug. Thank you.